Hey, you're listening to Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973. Here's your host, Shane Lakita.
Good morning, folks. Thanks so much again for joining me, Shane Lakita, for another episode of Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973. I know that our following is growing, our downloads are growing, the feedback on the iTunes and different platforms are growing. Hey, here's some other exciting news that just happened over the weekend here. I have 3 other platforms that I'm actually broadcast on and now I'm published on, and here they are. If you got a chance to check them out, on top of what you guys already are looking through Podbean and through iTunes to be able to access the podcast itself, but I've got TuneIn Radio, which is an application you can download, which a lot of people go to for tuning into sports games and different stuff that they might not be able to pick up on the radio, especially when they live afar from their favorite teams. TuneIn Radio is a great opportunity for people to be able to listen to the things that they want to from back home and things like that. So TuneIn, TuneIn Radio, if you check that app out, you can actually download it and then look up the podcast of Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973, and I'm right on there, just like you would with the Podbean or iTunes. And another one, which is pretty exciting, is through Google Play. I just got the email yesterday saying that I'll be within the next 24 to 48 hours broadcast on the Google Play platform, which is a pretty exciting one because a lot of people through Androids and through the Google platform use Google Play for their music and all of their podcasting and things like that. So it's another avenue that you can search for Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973 and be able to access it there. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Those are 2 of the applications. And Google Play you can also download through any of your Play stores or any of that stuff. And the last one, pretty exciting. I've got 2 more to actually talk about. One of them is iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio is an application you can download. A lot of people will see a lot of the fundraising stuff that's out there with iHeartRadio concerts and things like that to raise money for good causes throughout the world. Well, the good thing is that iHeartRadio is an application also, and you can download that application. And then every time that I broadcast or put out a new podcast, it notifies you. So different avenues, and I know the Podbean and the iTunes was pretty limited because a lot of people just kind of went this direction. And if you're listening right now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, I already listened to it through this platform, which is perfectly fine. But more avenues and more ability to be able to get the word out there, to be able to spread the love of Coffee Talk out there with Liquidshano, we can keep it going and keep moving forward. And lastly, soon to come, it's been submitted and could be approved soon, is the Spotify. A lot of people use Spotify outside of like Apple Radio or Apple Music. The Spotify platform is a really good one for people to use for downloading music or listening to different genres or playlists of different people and things like that. So Spotify is pretty exciting too. And once that does go live, I'll broadcast that here on the podcast to be able to celebrate in that and have some fun in that area. So pretty exciting stuff. And all of it is based on the fact that I have so much support with all of you that are listening to the show, that are listening to the podcast, that are reading the blogs, that are just involved in general. And I'm just so appreciative of all the support that I get from all of you, the kind words, the motivation, the inspiration to keep on moving forward and keep on challenging myself to fulfill the dreams that I've always wanted to fulfill through whether it's radio or through inspiration or things like that. So again, thank you so much, and be on the lookout for all these other platforms. I'll put some messages out too around these applications for other folks that aren't necessarily on iTunes or Podbean to give them more options to be able to access this show. Okay, so today's podcast is going to be about who we seek approval from, okay? So let's say, for instance, when we're growing up, what do we try to do? We always try to be able to seek approval from somebody. So whether it's a parent, or whether it's a sibling, or whether it's a teacher, or whether it's a coach, or whatever, we're always looking for approval by somebody, somewhere, somehow, right? We start off when we're real young, and we're always looking for that approval. And we're always looking to be accepted, and we're always looking to excel, And just like when a teacher will give you a grade and you're always looking to get the good grade and be able to excel and do great things. But the fact of the matter is that we're always looking for that approval. So it starts off when we're really young and we're always digging for it. Okay. So as we move through our young adult life, you see things like social classes, or you see things like cliques and different things, or different societal classes that are out there that you want to fit into and you want to be a part of and you want to be accepted and you want to be approved by the people around you. And you always do things to be able to do so. So whether you're wearing a certain type of clothing, whether you're dating a certain type of person, whatever it is, you're trying to dig hard to find that approval from people all around you in your young adult life. Okay? Then when you get to about your middle age, when you're in your 40s and your 50s, around that area, even still, you're looking for some approval. Even if you're already established and you've got a great job and you're working towards retirement and you're really focused and you're grinding out the grindstone to be able to just live your life and set yourself up for the future. Well, what happens even in that state, right? Even if you're already at a really good place, you're still looking for approval, whether it's at a job or whether it's at a coworker or whether it's at your PTA meeting, or maybe it's social classes with other people at the school that your kid goes to, or if your kid doesn't go to a certain college, are you looked or frowned upon? All these different things, so many different situations where we seek approval from people. And I feel like it just sets us all up for failure, doesn't it? I mean, if you're always looking for approval, you're looking for approval from other people. And so we're always looking to feel valued, or feel like we're a part of a group or part of a social class or whatever it is. And we're always digging as hard as we can to be able to get to where we're going to get to. And then we don't ever really get comfortable in our own skin and are comfortable in our own space to be happy with who we are, because we're always trying to be maybe somebody else or something different than what we are right now. Not that there's anything wrong with you wanting to challenge yourself to be something different. And not that there's anything wrong with you to be trying to challenge yourself to be better. What I'm saying is, if you're challenging yourself to be something, I don't know, who you're not, then that's an issue, right? How many times have we been in a situation where we might be part of a group or part of a band of people, or your quote unquote tribe that you're a part of, and you guys are all kind of banding up, and you find that this group is a negative group, right? Somebody that likes to make fun of other people or beat people down and really not make people feel inclusive and those kind of things. But you're part of the group and you're there, and you don't want to be the person that's going to say something against the whole entire part of the group, because you want to be approved. You want their vote of approval, their stamp of popularity, their stamp of, oh, you're one of the cool kids in this cool kid club, or whatever it is. Isn't it a shame that we have to change the way we are and change our personalities because we want to fit in and be approved? Well, there's only one person that needs to approve of who you are. Only one. It's not your mom and your dad. It's not your sisters, your brothers. It's not your kids. It's not your wife. Nobody. Except it's you. You're the person that has to approve of who you are. You're the person that has to approve of the decisions that you make, the beliefs that you have, the people that you surround yourself with, the activities that you partake in. Whatever it is, you're the one that has to approve of that. Now, isn't that interesting? Because we, all our lives, just like I opened with, all our lives, we fight like hell to be able to get people to accept us for who we are, or try to accept us and like us and feel like we're part of a group, or approval of a teacher, like I said before. When we're growing up as children, all our lives, we're trying to fight through that. Well, why don't you make a change and stop worrying about what those other people are thinking and only worry about what you think of yourself? Only focus in when you're looking at the mirror and you're standing there staring back at yourself, and you're looking at yourself and you're judging yourself, and you're looking at it going, oh, I feel fat today. I don't feel very great today. I don't have a lot of makeup on, or I don't have my hair done right. I look like crap. I'm not feeling it, whatever. And you're bashing yourself and beating yourself up. Change your lens and start to approve of who you are. It's much easier said than done, of course, like most of the podcasts that we go through, because it's all about mind shift change and it's all about how you are treating yourself. But this is a huge, huge core moment that if you can dig in to be able to change how you've been patterned your whole life of seeking for approval from other people, when all you have to do is worry about what that person staring at you in the mirror thinks of you. And if you don't think very highly of yourself and you're beating yourself up and you're really digging deep into the fact of depression or those kind of things, I'm no doctor, so I can't tell you how to treat depression or those types of mentality or those types of moments. But I am somebody that suffers from that sometimes. And so for me, I have to change my lens. I have to look in the mirror and I have to say to myself, okay, if I'm thinking poorly of myself or I'm looking at myself in the mirror saying, I don't feel good today, I don't feel right today, how do I change that mentality and change that mindset to, hey, you know what? I may not feel all that great today about what I look like or who I am portraying myself as, but here are some of the things that I'm doing that I should be damn proud of. Here's some of the things that I'm doing that I can dig into to say, look how far my journey has come, or look how I volunteered and gave back to others, or anything to that effect, right? You do enough for yourself to continue to push forward, but you don't celebrate in what you do enough. Instead, we critique all the time. It's human nature, right? I work in business. I talk to business owners that run multi-million-dollar operations, and we sit down and we have conversations about how they can be more productive and how they can be more effective and how they can run their business better, right? We dig into the nooks and the crannies and we find the faults and we try to fix them together. And we put plans together and we come up with game plans and A to B conversations and all that great stuff. But guess what happens every single time I'm sitting in any of those meetings? I sit down and I say, I always kick it off with this. What's going well in your business right now? Tell me what's going well and what is effective in your business. And you know what the funny part about that is that every single one of them might list one thing that's really good. Now, they've been patterned now because I've been working with them for a while, but most of them will start off with what is wrong. They'll say, this is going well with it, but, we could be better at this, or we could be better at that, or we could be doing this, or why aren't we doing this? And why, I know I'm not performing in this area. And then I have to redirect every single conversation with, I didn't ask you what's wrong. I asked you what's going well. Because we're so critical of ourselves. We start to just come after all of our faults to try to fix what's wrong rather than celebrating what's right and using those things that are right with us to handle some of the things that may be faults of our own. It should be easy to do, but it's not. Because even when we go into some of the things we think we're good at, we start to beat ourselves up over. Here I am recording a podcast with you guys, right? I'm sitting down at my desk and I've got my little padding behind it here and I'm trying to record into a microphone, trying to be able to get it all in one take and not have to go back and edit and whatever else. So a lot of times I don't even listen to my podcast after I say it and I put it out there. So the little imperfections and little breathing stuff you might hear or little things like that or whatever, which you might hear on the podcast, are imperfections that I would do nothing but rip apart when content matters and the value of the conversation and the rich dialogue is really what matters. And we're having conversations built around the fact of these things are what are going to help us, all of us, you, me, all of us, if we're talking about things that matter. Instead of beating myself up over the fact that I might slur a word or I might pop my pee or whatever it is, when I'm talking into a microphone. Instead of beating myself up over that, what I do is I celebrate in the fact that I'm doing this. I'm out here putting myself out there and I'm doing it. And I'm proud of the fact that I can come out here and have a conversation based on maybe some dialogue that you and I might have had on No Finish Line Nation or on Connect or on Instagram. And we're having conversations. So I build these Coffee Talk podcasts all around the conversations that I'm having out there. So here's what I want you to do today, because I know that this is something that I need to do for myself. If you're having a bad day, stop trying to vie for other people's approval and only focus on your approval of yourself. When you look in the mirror, if you're looking through a negative lens, flip the script. Turn it to a positive lens and look at yourself in more of a positive light and think to yourself, you know what? I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm looking good today because I may not be looking the greatest that I might think of, but I'm feeling really good about how I'm presenting myself and what I'm bringing to the table. If you're lacking in confidence, practice. Practice in front of the mirror. Look at yourself. Positive talk. Those kind of things. Okay? So try that today as you are heading out to work, or you're heading off to daycare, or you're heading out to take care of your family, or whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're doing in your life. Just know that if you can change your view of what you look at yourself and only fight for the approval of yourself, stop trying to fight for other people's approval. The other people will come around. Trust me, they'll come around, because guess what's going to happen? Now you're going to be a positive person. You're always going to be thinking in a positive lens. You're always going to be trying to fight for something good, and you're always going to be somebody that people want to be around. So you're not going to have to fight for that approval anymore, because now you're in a good space with yourself, and that is who you're trying to get approval from, and that's you. So work on that today, right? Stop thinking about what other people are thinking about you and only think about how you think of yourself, okay? Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk later.
Thanks for listening to the Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973 podcast. You can also follow him on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Liquidshano 1973. Also, if you get a chance, leave some love on iTunes. Have a great day.